Good morning, everyone. It is April the 11th, 2016. Time to kick off another trading day. We open today without a lot of direct government news overnight. The biggest fundamental news released by government was China's CPI fell, I think, for the 15th month in a row. But anyway, inflation's not a problem in China. And that hurts in several ways. Real estate prices, people who have financed their manufacturing loans to build their inventories, raw material inventories, etc. It works all the way through their system. China is cracking down on the shadow banking industry. Hard to say which way that'll go because it's not the official People's Bank of China or their outlets that are doing the lending, but any kind of crackdown, my guess is they're probably cracking down saying you better make those loans or else, or quit calling them in. But don't really know about that. We have no news here. No news out of Europe. The piece of news that took the markets higher, and you can see it in the London session, market went straight up, was, and right here, the announcement that they're putting together a bailout plan for the Italian banks, and you can see what happened to the E-mini right there, and it's kind of held in ever since then. So there was a hard piece of news on addressing the plight of Italian banks. Austrian banks just approved a senior creditor haircut of 50 or bail-in of their paper loans. So the banking situation in Europe remains shaky at best, with taxpayers ultimately on the hook, as it will be for any other country that gets in that kind of trouble. It's just the only place they can go. So, strength in the E-mini has taken our market higher. First level of resistance starts right here at 31, and then we have the spill in London, the end period from 04. So our first sell is 31 to 03, followed by 7 to 11. We have a special Fed meeting talking about interest rate policy, how to set them, its ramifications for the April the 27th FOMC meeting today, followed by a special meeting of Yellen with President Obama. And you'd have to think that there'll be some comments following their meeting. And Obama will not be arguing for tightening. You can bet that supposedly his approval rating has gone up because of the general state of the economy. Everything's getting better. And that would be hard to prove, but that's what the news services are reporting. By 21 to 25, if the E-mini rallies and blows through and takes 2050 out, and it is pointed higher, as long as the E-mini stays above 2030, it can trade higher. Then we don't want to be long treasuries. But if the E-mini stalls and can't take out and hold 2050, then we can be long treasuries. So the first trade, I believe, is a sell, based on the strength in the E-mini. Okay, looking at the Treasury market, we're going to circle this 28 to 166 even. That's number one. Put the sell at 3 to 7 for sell 1, and then 11 to 15 for sell 2. On the buy side of the market, we've got this 12 to 16 area. Make this number 1. Then 5 to 9, buy 1. And I'm going to drop at 25, 29, buy 2. The idea that the knob spread will come in and add to the selling. Okay, gold is higher. overnight. And again, Iraq hurt crude oil prices by saying that they're producing as much as they've ever produced and plan on producing more. You have what happened with the Austrian banks. You have the bail-in for Italian banks. So why not buy gold? And that's, again, there's just so much chaos in the world and so much uncertainty. I just don't think you're going to have people jumping on the bandwagon and selling gold. I think they use weakness as buying opportunities. And I don't think they're planning on trading gold. I think they're planning on holding it in case things go bad or go wrong. We do have some resistance at 53, 55, so 54, 56, sell 1. We get it back up there. 59, 61, sell 2. Really don't like the short side of the market, but can trade from the short side on an intraday basis. Okay, the 54% haircut that the Austrian banks used to, I think, raise $8.5 billion ultimately affects the euro because that's what the Italian bank bailout and the Austrian bank bailout and the Greek bank bailout and everything else comes from, and it will take the euro down, but you can see right here, here's the London high based on that news that rallied equities, and you can see that the market was capped in the 1435 area. So our 25 to 35 is sell 1, and then 50 to 60 is sell 2. On the buy side, 114 even. I mean, that's where support is. Don't really like the long side, but we can get long. We can't break the buck. And buy 2 is 75. Okay, crude oil. Goldman has come out and said don't expect much out of Doha. I mean, everybody's ramped up their production and has got it as high as can be. And I guess probably the best case scenario for an agreement out of Doha is that they will freeze production where it is right now. Iran has already said they're not going to participate in any production quotas or control because of the hardships that they've had to endure. And that's always Iran's argument, that they have in good times when OPEC is functioning and they're allowed to work the open market, they can sell as much as they can produce because they have more population than like a Saudi Arabia or the rest of them, Iraq. Therefore, they need more money to support the population. None of the news is good for crude oil from a fundamental standpoint, so we like the short side of the market better. 75 to 40, it'll be sell 1. 25 to 50, sell 2. On the buy side, I don't particularly care for, let's make it 38.75, 39. We'll play for this area right in here for support. Buy 1. And then buy 2 will be 38 and a quarter, 38 even. Like I said, no good fundamental news out over the weekend. The only thing supporting the market probably will be the Doha meetings at the end of the this coming weekend on the 17th. Okay, the E-mini is poised to trade higher, like we've talked about structurally. If I can find it here. As long as we hold this 30 area right in here, this market can trade higher. It's capped on the top by 70, and we're at 2050, which is a round number that could hold as resistance. Looking at the F2 screen, here's your London split where the news hit. And if we come back in and if we combine distributions, you can see that there's pretty good support in the 40 area. You can see that there's pretty good resistance in the 52, 55 area. And we're currently at 48. And here was the peak off that news that the Italian banks were going to get a haircut. So our first sell is going to be this 50 to 55 area. And I don't know if it's going to hold. It'll allow them to get stops above the overnight session. We are high. We are pointed higher. It would lean against this C period high over here. So that would be sell 1. Right now it's trying to trade higher than 59 to 64 will be our second sell band. On the buy side, I like this 40-42 area for buy 1. Then 35-37, back to our old 35-37, which worked out pretty well for us last week. So can we take out 2050 and can we hold it? No news to speak of today. Probably the biggest equity news out over the weekend is that BlackRock is withdrawing their support for the Japanese equity markets. I guess to support their markets when BlackRock and everybody else pull out of Japan, that the Japanese government will have to buy those stocks to preserve stock prices. You don't make an announcement like that without a lot of forethought and having checked out your back door, and maybe BlackRock's already moved their position before they made that announcement. Okay, it's going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will be with you as soon as possible. In the meantime, good trading.